As of today, Oscorp Industries has surpassed Quest Aerospace as the principal supplier to the United States military.
Wonderful. As a matter of fact, it's the reason we're selling the company.
What? But you can't do this to me.
You know how much I sacrificed?
Oh, man! It just keeps getting worse and worse for Bungie Bros, dude. I mean, holy hell. Look, I called this. The second the plagiarism scandal came out, I told my friends, it's either gonna be delayed or canceled. Most likely delayed, because going through all the art assets to remove the plagiarized content would take way too long to be done before September. And here we are.
Impossible.
Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gents. I am your host, a crab named Heller, and today we're talking about the marathon delay. Now first, today's video was going to be a response to Reforge crying about his crappy Elden Ring video getting disliked to hell and back because, shocker, people, they don't really like it when you make a review/impressions video where you admit to not having touched said game.
Really makes you think.
And then I shifted to making a video on the Borderlands 4 price reveal and, mocking the PR nightmare that is Randy Pitchford. But now, obviously, the marathon stuff broke. And quite frankly, I think this is a more important video to make compared to the other two. So, if you are completely unaware as to what's happening with Marathon, I'll get you guys up to speed. However, if you are aware of the situation and just want the most recent news, I'll leave a timestamp on the screen for you guys to jump ahead.
This is where the fun begins.
So, Marathon, Bungie's next big game after Destiny, was revealed at the PlayStation 2023 showcase on May 24th, and spouted some interesting visuals and otherworldliness Bungie has been known to create with their trailers. Despite the visuals looking radically different from the original series, people, from what I recall, were tentatively interested, albeit a bit cautious.
But the people are retarded.
Now, I don't remember exactly when the information came out, but a bit after its initial reveal, Bungie revealed that Marathon 2025 would be an extraction shooter. And strike one. They clearly wanted to chase the extraction shooter fad, but the issue is they were far too late to the party. Despite not many games actually adopting the genre, the ones that did already exhausted people from the genre itself. Tarkov has become virtually unplayable online, as every match guaranteed at least one hacker. Call of Duty DMZ was a dismal failure. I don't even know a single person who played it, much less liked it. And the only other extraction shooter that has done well has been Hunt Showdown. However, Hunt Showdown is different from the standard extraction shooter, as loot and gear is not the primary objective people chase in it, compared to, say, Tarkov or DMZ or even Marauders on Steam. It focuses on the hunting of bosses on the map and the PvP aspect, which allowed people who maybe weren't too keen on the genre, like myself, to actually get into and enjoy the game. There is also the upcoming Arc Raiders that had a successful beta, but as of writing of this video, that has yet to release. I believe it is set for October of this year.
I can't take it anymore!
Marathon would later showcase to not take this route. Bungie's idea was to try and bring the extraction shooter genre to a mainstream audience, which I personally believe is a fool's errand. Because the genre itself is incredibly hardcore and mean to the average FPS player. After all, you could spend, say, 3 hours gearing up and farming loot with friends, only to lose all your progress within a bad series of runs, which is an incredibly high ask of your average player.
Come on. Come on, baby. I just want out.
The reason Destiny was so successful in the mainstream is precisely because they gave people who weren't interested in hardcore endgame content like raids, Trials of Osiris, or high-level dungeons plenty of alternate ways to play the game and earn loot. Your average adult or your average father or mother could sit down and play the game for just a few hours a week and feel like they have progressed without fear of losing said progression. However, Marathon, instead of adopting the Hunt philosophy, adopted the Tarkov philosophy. So you're already kneecapping your game's potential player base growth because, once again, extraction shooters are just too niche and hardcore for your average player. But, okay, we'll see. Maybe when people get their hands on and they do a deep dive gameplay reveal, all worries will be alleviated.
Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious.
Except that's not what really happened. The gameplay showcase was incredibly disjointed, and you can see for yourself my reaction to it here. Only having small snippets of gameplay that made it just look like Destiny PvP, and spending several minutes just talking about features. Why? They spend a lot of time telling you what was in the game, but not a lot of time showing you. Compare it to the Destiny gameplay reveal and it's night and day how much they showed off back then. Alright, strike 2 for me. Generally, if you're spending more time talking about the game and mechanics rather than showing it in a gameplay reveal, that generally leads to the belief that you aren't that confident in your product.
You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting. This is awful in every way. If I could kill it, I would. But I legally can't.
And then when people finally got their hands on the game, they cited numerous issues like no solos or duos, no proximity chat, a staple in the genre, the level design felt bland or unfinished, but more importantly, for a lot of people, it didn't feel good to play. Which is poison when it comes to a first-person shooter. It felt like a slower, clunkier Destiny. Now, this does have some contention and may just be a personal preference. As two friends of mine who played a lot of the alpha, I believe they both put in over 50 hours over its course, said they actually enjoyed the gunplay quite a lot. However, it felt very different from Destiny. So maybe that's where the discrepancy is coming from. People are going in expecting it to feel like Destiny when it shouldn't. I mean, after all, Halo came before Destiny, and those games don't feel similar at all. Finally, we get the announcement of the closed alpha, which would go from April 23rd to May 4th of 2025. And an interesting tidbit was initially NDA protected to all hell, which they later removed.
Oh wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
Which, honestly, after everything that came out afterward, I don't know if that was the right move business-wise, because shortly after, an artist by the name of Anti-Real noticed some things in the alpha. She has done artwork similar to the style of Marathon for years since 2017, which, if you're wondering, is a type of cyberpunk / Ghost in the Shell-esque design philosophy. You'll see it in a lot of like 80s and 70s like cyberpunk and futuristic stuff. They have a very specific type of design. As she saw more and more artwork of the game, she began to notice several assets in the game had logos and shapes and writings that were lifted straight from her catalog. Hell, on some, they even tried but failed to hide her artist signature, which appears in game. Fun fact, she even hid the Lost meme in her artwork, and guess what was found in Marathon? The Lost meme, the exact one that she hid. And as you can see in the images on the screen, they weren't, oh, we just took her designs and tweaked them a bit to avoid copyright, which would be a standard, disgusting, but standard business practice. No. They were directly lifted. What's even crazier is the fact that the art director and several members of the art team had followed her on Twitter for years.
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
Which doesn't help the situation for them. Now, of course, they claim this was done by an outside source and the person has long since been gone.
That is one big pile of shit.
But there's a reason I think that's a load of bullshit. You see, this is not the first time Bungie has been caught plagiarizing.
Oh no. Oh no. 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 No, 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 no. You misunderstood.
In fact, it's the fourth. First, with an artwork of Xivu Arath in a promotional trailer for The Witch Queen, where they used a fan's depiction without permission. They later apologized and compensated the artist.
We're sorry.
Then again in 2023 with the Season of the Deep featuring artwork incredibly similar to artist Julian Faylona's piece from 2020, for which they, once again, apologized and offered compensation.
We're sorry.
And then a third time last year with the Destiny Ace of Spades Nerf hand cannon, which I didn't even know about until after I had already bought it.
Here, please hit me as hard as you can.
Where someone made artwork depicting the Ace of Spades as a Nerf gun back in 2015, for which they, once again, apologize and offer compensation. Are you seeing a pattern here?
Sorry.
If it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's a goddamn plagiarizing piece of shit duck.
You can suck my fried you son of a bitch. Kiss my balls, lick the juice from my you face. You fat bastard. You hear me, bitch? Huh? Come on down here. You suck mother.
Now, there was also a lawsuit going on about Bungie plagiarizing the Red War campaign off of some guy's original novel, but the evidence the guy gives is incredibly lazy and focuses on the naming conventions like the Red War and Centurions, which isn't exactly unique and in fact quite common in fantasy stories. However, since Bungie removed the Red War campaign, they can't submit counter evidence because it's literally gone, which is pretty fucking funny if I do say so myself. Anyway, that brings us to now. After the debacle, they got justifiably a ton of shit flung their way with the art director for some reason appearing on a stream, which felt like some higher up telling him to go out there and fall on his sword, because why? Why would you even do a stream after all this? With comments going crazy, calling the game Art Raiders because very shortly after, Art Raiders had a very successful beta, and spamming "Plagiarism will make me God," a play on the Marathon quote from the cinematic trailer. After weeks of silence, Marathon puts out a statement, announcing an indefinite delay, promising to fix key areas based on feedback from the alpha test, like adjusting the AI encounters, more rewarding runs, making combat feel more tense, as well as promising a better experience for solo and duo players and adding a proximity chat. Things that really should have been in the game to begin with, but hey. But what's really interesting is this part where they promise a darker tone that delivers on the themes of the original trilogy. Because this screams to me that they may be completely overhauling the art style. Because nothing about the game, apart from the name, was even remotely similar to the originals in terms of tone, gameplay, or characters. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe they aren't changing the art entirely, but just adjusting it slightly. But let's be honest. If they don't change the art style, it doesn't matter when the game is released. It will fail because the art style is permanently tainted by this debacle. You can release it a year from now, 2 years from now, hell, 5 years from now. All people will associate your game with when they see it is the plagiarism. When I first started writing this video, it wasn't going to be a deep dive into the history of the game. But as I kept writing and adding more and more, I realized the tone of this video is drastically different from what I initially set out to do. But hey, screw it, right? As I write this section right now, one statement pops into my head. Marathon doesn't deserve your money. It doesn't deserve your time. It doesn't deserve your doubt. As I said earlier, Bungie, in the last 5 years, has been caught plagiarizing over 4 times. That is almost once a year. And yet, the heads are still in charge. They always have a convenient excuse as to whose fault it is. And we never see any consequences relegated. Well, now's our chance. to show them the consequences of their actions. Keep in mind, they're the reason Last of Us Online, the one internal Sony live service game that probably would have succeeded, was cancelled. And they shit out Marathon, a game they couldn't even make without lifting assets verbatim from an artist who can't even afford to take them to court. Enough is enough. Marathon doesn't deserve your money. Bungie doesn't deserve your pity. And quite frankly, I don't care how good or improved Marathon looks a year from now. I don't want, and I refuse to support a company that doesn't respect the artists they supposedly admire and holds no accountability for their own actions. Fuck Bungie, fuck Marathon, and quite frankly, if you support it, fuck you. Whoo, boy, that was a long one. Anyway, I want to thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. As always, to stay up to date on all things crab, you can follow me on Twitter via the link in the description below. And if you're looking for a way to support the channel, you can consider becoming a member. For only 99 cents a month, you get access to the community Discord, the Crab Shack. Once you're in, you are in for good, as well as emotes you can harass me with live on streams. But with all that out of the way, I will see you guys in the next video.